Welcome to Projecting CoCreate. So this podcast is about projecting in general, all the different projects that I was doing and I did in the past and I'm planning to do in the future. Hip-hop projecting started with the idea of bringing a new therapeutic approach for kids coming from kids and young people coming from Africa to Europe to Spain. The idea was to make something that they would love, they would enjoy, they would really get into flow and turn it in a way that combine different elements of therapeutic methods so that they can really enjoy while they're receiving a trauma treatment, a therapy. So I was quite ambitious to turn it to a treatment model because most of these youths from Africa, from Morocco, from Algeria, from Senegal, Gambia, wherever, is coming with very heavy traumas, and eventually they are receiving diagnoses like ADHD or substance abuse and schizophrenia and psychosis. And yeah, these diagnoses are true, but core essence of these diagnoses is not because these people are broken, it is because they have traumatic experiences. So my idea was to show really that the problem is in the system itself, is they're coming from poverty, they are coming from families that are not so aware of how to treat a child. It doesn't mean that they have bad parenting or something, but poverty automatically creates this structure of you cannot really reach to your kids' psychological needs because of the poverty itself, that it creates a fear mechanism. So while your system is in the survival mode, the parenting is getting really hard, and we know about that. So the idea was to bring out a big studio that shows how valuable they are to these youth, and create a structure that they can create music, they can rap, they can dance, and they can paint, and they can also meditate. Not even call it meditation, but they could also bring together, understand how their breathing works, understand how they can regulate their body. So I wrote this project. The name was The Project, actually, when I just showed to people, and eventually I showed it to a philanthropist, and then he liked the idea, and then he said, okay, you need a name, and then I said, okay, Project In sounds really good, and he was saying okay, but it is not enough, maybe something else more indicative to the hip-hop nature of the project, because the culture of this project was coming from the hip-hop culture. And I was talking in that time with the hip-hop therapists all around the world, like Elliot Gunn. Dr. Elliot Gunn has a therapeutic beat-making model, and he's running Today's Future Sound in United States. And I was talking with him, and he connected me all around the world, all the hip-hop artists that are working with these therapeutic models. Elliot had this vision of connecting everyone together. And actually it worked for me, because it was very inspiring to see how these people are doing, how they use hip-hop and the cultural ideas for therapeutic reasons. And then in that time, I put all the hip-hop ideas and all the hip-hop culture, which is very relevant to what I was doing, because hip-hop came out from the minorities in New York, in the ghetto, when they are all thrown away to kill each other, the gangs and ghetto and everything, the hip-hop and DJ culture, and then making parties and rapping build up, the DJs of these heroes bringing the different gangs together to make art and to the community mindset. So I was using everything that I was receiving from hip-hop for this project. And eventually we called it Hip-Hop Project in Ferrer Salat Music Foundation. Here they are very established with the big projects. And then we created Hip-Hop Project in. And rented a place, and then started with these youth It was really difficult to reach to the youth because it was just after COVID. We had some struggles, and during those struggles we kind of had some communication issues with the philanthropy organization, so that like eventually after a few years we had to separate our ways. But the main idea was that I could really bring out a project and unite different kind of, different kind of therapeutic methodologies to come up with something that works. I'm saying something that works. I didn't scientifically prove that it works, like proved. I mean, I didn't significantly showed it, like statistically showed it that it is making a difference, but I saw it with my eyes and I saw the difference, and it is like incredibly powerful. I hope one day I will be able to create this kind of, scientific study, so that we can check really what kind of effect does this project to do. And in that time I could work maybe more than 150 young men, mostly men, because of the structure of the situation. Like, in these countries, they would send the young guy from the family to get money for the family to Europe. So it's like they are younger than age, like they are younger than 18, and the family is encouraging them to go to Europe, create a life, and then eventually send and support the family. This structure is like continuing for years right now, and there is not much we can do rather than attending to these young people who are coming, because they will come no matter what, under the trucks, in different ways, like swimming, and I don't think that Spain or Europe knows how to deal with the situation, but everyone is putting something in the table. And my contribution was creating this project, and I would like to continue this project, and eventually we are starting a new phase of hip hop project in working with Catalan and Mexican youth. But what happened after the hip hop project when we kind of lost the funding, was a really important part for my life, because then I was like, okay, hip hop project is going to lose funding. Am I going to leave completely? What am I doing? Or am I going to just finally reach to the next stage that would be my vision and my dream, would be a general projecting, like projecting that has different projects. So my main idea was to start with this project, and then I could imagine different projects, like projecting CoCreate, for example, after that, or projecting circus, or projecting I would call it sound high, but with the electronic music. So the idea was to create different types of projects and put it all in the projecting, and turn projecting in a big let's say company, or it looks like an NGO, but a big company that creates projects for different types of needs of the society. And eventually I could gather some friends and talk about these ideas and talk about this vision, and then we focused on making it like different projects. And we first focused on the project in CoCreate, which was to bring together the artists and talk about their projects and give them space to then get better in what they are doing, and then eventually project in Sound High, from my focus on electronic music, because since I was starting with or even before the hip hop project I always liked electronic music, and the combination of electronic music with the natural instruments and flute, and in that area I could see that with the dance and with this combination of rhythms and some kind of repetition, I could really feel my mind was getting affected in a positive way. So we started Sound High. Right now it is not there, but I want to create some kind of a electronic music label that is in a free form electronic music. Right now it just turned into electronic music therapy. I will talk about the story of it as well. But Eventually, this vision was happening. We opened a web page, but then for the personal reasons, I had to slowly give a break and focus on my own music, focus on my own self-development, and I moved to Portugal from Barcelona. And in that time, I really learned about life, let's say, and living and friendship and music, electronic music. I was really focused on how to produce, how to DJ. So last 2 years of my life, I was into that. In the meantime, I was like in the psychedelic music communities, and I understood, let's say, somehow why these communities exist and what is the need of these communities using the psychedelic medicine, and what are the good side of this, what are the cons and pros of this kind of communities, what are they trying to do, what is the level of consciousness, and what is the aim of these things. And then like it was also opening me up to the ideas, so I kind of get out of the traditional psychology mindset, and then I could be open more to esoteric studies, let's say. And at that time it was like an interesting change for my life, because I could be an artist. Finally, I could feel like an artist and focusing on my art, but also my perspective on psychology changed through seeing from other lenses. You know, like I'm not gonna say just I changed my perspective, because there are like so many different ways of seeing the life. All of us have different realities, and we are just combining and creating some kind of a reality sometimes to understand that we are in the same world, but we are all from different cameras looking at and then like it is very difficult for me to explain how I see psychology or human mind or the consciousness right now, because it is a very complex issue and I would go into that. But eventually, when I just decided to come back to Barcelona and start projecting again, I realized that like my old ideas doesn't work anymore. So I needed a new project that has different projects, has the same vision, but focus from different level of consciousness, different perspective. So I still want to do hip-hop projecting, and it is an incredible project that starts with the meditation, and then like we don't even use the word meditation, but what we do in this 2 hours is completely meditative, creating the songs, creating the and making videos on it, like DJ, and then like talk about emotional aspects and rap about everything that we can talk about, like about families, about issues, and then like freestyle. It is an incredibly powerful project over there. On the other hand, last year, while I was reading Julia Cameron's Artist Way, it really impacted me, and I think I read it like in 2025. I read Julia Cameron's Artist Way 3 times, and one of them I was leading a group of artists, let's say like 11 people, and I was doing like making one podcast to send these 10 or 11 people every week, and I would send a form about a form that they would fill after doing the tasks and after passing the week according to the previous week's podcast. And that taught me a lot, and it actually created a better perspective of CoCreate. So CoCreate became a platform for me to attend the artist mental health, and I started to understand more about how artist mental health is different, like we should approach differently than classical, like traditional psychology or psychotherapy. Why? Because artists, not artists, but everyone that is dealing with art and creating and get into the perspective of creation and flow, they already gained, you already gained their like main tools of well-being. the main tool of well-being will be the art, because it is the flow, and through the flow the nervous system regulates. Everything kind of works differently. If you go into the flow psychology, or if you just check it, you will start to understand that the flow is creating some kind of a harmony in the body, so that the body and the mind becomes the tool of the creation itself, like the creation of the whatever we do. It can be surfing, it can be other things. And when I say the artist, I'm telling about like anything that we can, with the full focus and full idea of like, I want to make it better, I want to improve it, and I want to give myself completely to it. I think it is like an art for me, form. So eventually, when I started to realize this part, like we have the tools for well-being, we have the understanding of well-being, I start to understand, okay, now I can approach it, like the needs of these people in a different way. Because like, what is the biggest thing is that biggest worries or problem we have when after we gain this tool is blockages, you know, like we get blocked through the ego, we get blocked by comparing ourselves, we get blocked when we create something so good, and after that it's like, okay, now what am I going to do? How am I going to create the other thing? And I think the main tool will always be on this aspect. The main tool will always be Julia Cameron's book, but there are so many other books in this planet about creativity. But one of the things that is common in all these books, or the ideas, or the videos, or the documentaries, or anything that I consume, is that creativity and creation is about allowing. So they always talk about, I don't create, like I don't force the thing to come out, I just allow the ideas, and I just allow the flow through me. So it is not like you start a sculpture and then you create exactly what you want. Rather than that, it's like you start a sculpture and you have an idea of what will come out, but you allow your body, your mind. And I started to understand it in music, that is this creates itself. I have an idea, but eventually that idea will completely shape itself to what needs to be coming out, and then I will refine that until the moment that I say, okay, it is done. And I think you might understand what I'm talking about. But I believe this, like the psychology and this getting into the mindset of allowing things to happen through me, is the most therapeutic thing for the mind and body. Like, it is just about having the confidence, and my attendance and the tools that I want to share in projecting CoCreate is to allow this kind of like to help this allowance, to help the artist to get more into the flow. And eventually, like, yeah, we talked about CoCreate and hip-hop projecting, and eventually this year, like few months ago, it was this idea of, okay, in music therapy field, I don't see a lot of use of electronic music, because most of them are music therapists, and I don't see a lot of electronic musicians like DJs and producers go into the field of music therapy. And there are a lot of good studies, but I wanted to create this concept and kind of call attention and provoke people as well, and created this thing called electronic music therapy. Because after hip-hop projecting, I had gathered a lot of information about how I'm going to use electronic music, like hip-hop, beat making, sampling, DJing, for the therapeutic reasons. But then, when I go into my own process of DJing and music production, and going to parties, and then, you know, understanding and meeting with other DJs, other producers, I started to get this, like a toolbox of how all these things can be used for therapeutic reasons, and for well-being, for mind-body connection, or for deeper experiences like even I would call spiritual experiences. And like, so it was like a kind of like the toolkits and different ideas about how I'm going to use electronic music for therapy. And then I started to build some small, codes that we can use for breathing and combining breathe with the electronic music songs, things like that. And there will be more of that. It is just a very new project of projecting electronic music therapy. And I want to go deeper in that, because there is a lot to discover. There's like the technology is allowing a lot of things to come out, and it is mostly about like regulating through breath, using frequencies and using vibrations, using the sound with the technological tools, like your own voice, to regulate your own mind and body and everything. So this is going to be the third project of projecting that I will focus this year. I think I explained quite a lot of things, and it is quite long, but welcome to this podcast. I will be talking about a lot of things. I will also hopefully will have other people joining me in this process, and I will just enjoy through this new era of projecting in 2026, and I hope you enjoy with me. Please contact me whenever you feel like. You can reach in projecting.org. You can find the contact form. You can contact me anytime. That's it. Thank you.